The TBD Devastator was already outdated when World War II began, and pilots knew it. It was slow, lightly armed, and had no real protection, which made torpedo runs feel like suicide missions. Crews felt exposed and helpless against modern fighters and anti-aircraft fire. While it handled gently, that did not matter in combat. The aircraft never truly improved and was quickly replaced once better designs became available. Pilots disliked the Brewster Buffalo because it was overweight, slow to climb, and poorly suited for real air combat. Early versions showed promise, but added equipment made it sluggish and unresponsive. In battle, it struggled badly against more agile enemy fighters, leaving pilots frustrated and vulnerable. Although some minor improvements were made, the design itself was flawed. The Buffalo never redeemed its reputation and was soon abandoned by frontline units. The Zero was loved for its agility, but hated for how fragile it felt to fly. Pilots knew that one solid hit could be fatal because the plane had almost no armor or fuel protection. Early on, its performance was unmatched, but as the war progressed, enemies learned its weaknesses. Japan failed to modernize it properly, so later versions did not improve enough. By the end, flying a Zero felt increasingly dangerous and outdated. The Me-163 terrified even skilled pilots. Its rocket engine made it incredibly fast but also wildly dangerous. Takeoffs and landings were risky, and the fuel was so unstable it could explode from a hard landing. Flights lasted only minutes, leaving no room for mistakes. While technically impressive, it never became safer or more practical. The design saw no real improvement and was abandoned as an unsustainable experiment. The HE-162 was rushed into service with inexperienced pilots and poor materials. Many flyers hated how unreliable it felt, with engine failures and structural problems being common. It handled fast but unforgivingly, which made training deadly. Although engineers hoped later versions would improve, the war ended before fixes could be made. As flown, the aircraft never earned pilot trust and remained more dangerous than helpful. Early P-38 pilots struggled with an aircraft that looked advanced but behaved unpredictably. High-speed dives caused compressibility issues that could lock the controls, terrifying pilots who felt trapped as the plane pointed downward. Engine management was complex, and mistakes could quickly turn deadly. Over time, fixes and training improved its safety and performance. Later versions earned respect, but early crews paid the price while learning its limits. The Blackburn Botha was widely disliked for feeling underpowered and poorly thought out. Pilots complained about weak engines, bad visibility, and sluggish handling that made even basic maneuvers stressful. It struggled to stay airborne when fully loaded, which destroyed confidence. Attempts to improve it failed to solve the core problems. The aircraft never recovered its reputation and was quietly removed from combat roles. Early B-29 crews feared their own engines more than enemy fighters. The powerful but unreliable engines overheated easily and often caught fire mid-flight. Pilots had to constantly monitor systems, adding stress to long missions. While the plane was revolutionary, it felt unfinished at first. With time, better maintenance and upgrades improved reliability, turning it into a far safer and more trusted aircraft by war's end. The Tu-104 was one of the first jet airliners, but pilots found it unforgiving and unstable. It had dangerous stall behavior and little warning before control was lost. Crews described it as demanding constant attention, especially during landing. While some procedural improvements were made, the aircraft itself never truly became friendly. Its poor safety record followed it until it was finally retired. Pilots distrusted the Yak-38 because it felt more experimental than operational. Its vertical takeoff system reduced payload and range, leaving little margin for error. Engine failures were common, and the aircraft lacked the performance expected of a fighter. Automatic ejection saved lives, but also highlighted its danger. Minor upgrades helped reliability, yet the design never fully matured and was eventually replaced. Pilots found the F-102 frustrating because it entered service before its design problems were solved. Early versions were underpowered and struggled to break the sound barrier, which hurt confidence in an interceptor role. Handling at low speeds was awkward, especially during landing. Later aerodynamic fixes improved performance and reliability, making it more capable. However, many pilots still remembered the early models as disappointing and difficult to trust. The F-106 was fast and powerful, but pilots disliked how unforgiving it felt near the ground. Landing speeds were high and mistakes left little room for recovery. The aircraft demanded precision and punished hesitation. While avionics and systems improved over time, its handling characteristics never softened. Experienced pilots respected it, but many still described it as stressful and exhausting to fly safely on a daily basis. The Cutlass earned a dark reputation among naval pilots. Its tailless design and weak engines made carrier landings especially dangerous. Poor visibility, unreliable systems, and frequent mechanical failures caused constant anxiety. Accidents were common, and pilots lacked confidence in the aircraft. Although small improvements were attempted, the core design issues remained. It never became safe or trusted and was removed from service early. Pilots found the F-11 Tiger sleek but unforgiving. Its engines were prone to flameouts, and its flight envelope left little margin for error. The aircraft became infamous after one pilot accidentally shot himself down during a test flight. While it handled well at speed, reliability concerns never fully went away. Minor improvements helped, but the Tiger was soon overshadowed and quietly retired from frontline service. Flying the Lightning felt thrilling and stressful at the same time. Pilots loved its climb rate but hated its extremely short fuel endurance. Missions were rushed and fuel management dominated every flight. Landing with low fuel added constant pressure. While upgrades improved systems slightly, the range problem never disappeared. Pilots respected its performance but often joked it was designed to fly straight up, then land immediately. The C-133 made pilots uneasy because it never felt structurally trustworthy. Crews worried about mechanical failures and unexplained mid-air breakups that damaged confidence in the aircraft. It was difficult to maintain and prone to serious technical issues on long flights. Although maintenance procedures improved slightly, the core reliability concerns remained. Pilots respected its size and capability, but never fully trusted it to bring them home safely. Pilots feared the F-104 because it demanded perfection at all times. Its small wings and high landing speeds left almost no margin for error, especially in bad weather. While it was incredibly fast, it punished mistakes brutally. Some upgrades improved systems and training helped survival rates, but the flight characteristics never softened. Many pilots respected its power but hated how quickly it could turn deadly. The Sea Vixen was disliked mainly for how isolating and confusing it felt to fly. The pilot had poor visibility and could not see the navigator at all, increasing stress during complex missions. Night carrier landings were especially dangerous. While avionics improved slightly over time, the basic layout never changed. Pilots learned to cope with it, but few ever described it as comfortable or reassuring. Pilots found the Fiat G.91 harsh and tiring to fly. It had rough handling, limited power, and unforgiving landing behavior that made routine flights stressful. While it performed adequately in light attack roles, it lacked refinement and stability. Minor improvements helped reliability, but not comfort or safety margins. Many pilots saw it as a necessary tool rather than a machine they enjoyed flying or trusted fully. Early Phantom pilots disliked the aircraft's poor visibility, heavy landings, and constant smoke trails that made them easy targets. It felt more like a missile truck than a fighter, and carrier landings were especially punishing. Over time, major upgrades improved handling, weapons, and reliability. Later versions became respected and even loved, but early crews endured a steep and uncomfortable learning curve.